was because they were also tobacconists in the main. So they were able to sell cigarettes and pipe tobacco and snuff and all those sort of things. But a sweet, nary a one. Because everybody rushed in and bought sweets. Sweets they didn't need, didn't want, and so on and so forth. And that's the way humans behave. Way back in the 1950s. And I always think of us as being sort of responsible people. And that's the way people are behaving today with the virus. Is, oi, we've been let out. Okay, let's do all the things we haven't been able to do. Oh my God, I just infected somebody. Oh my God, even worse, I've just picked up an infection from somebody. Just a little bit of caution. A little bit of anti-speed, if you like, as we come back off a very tough time. After we come off lockdown, a little bit at a time, otherwise we'll be right back in it. And a second time, I'm not so sure that we're all going to be that tolerant, and one wonders what will happen to society. So let's take it easy now. Yeah, I plan to go to the park this morning. It's the first time that I've been out, other than just to go and get a small bottle of wine from the store, which is conveniently located about 50 yards away. And I'm able to go at times when there are no other people around. So I've been relatively safe in doing that. But let's not rush into things. I shall go to the park today, perhaps for an hour. I'll stay away from everybody. Even if I see people I know, I shall stay away, keep the distance. Then tomorrow I can try it again. And as long as it's not raining, and to hell with it. If it is raining, I shall go anyway. And I can get back into some sort of normalcy. And perhaps start to see things in a different perspective. As it is, the resentment that I felt last night towards the government and governance has dissipated. Because I've been saying to myself, you know, Keith, this is what you've been yelling about for at least the past 18 months, 2 years, publicly, on radio and television. So what's so different? And the fact is, nothing's different. Governance and government and the people in it are just as bad as they always were. They don't think, they're selfish, they're only after the loot. They delude themselves into saying and pretending that they are looking into the best interests of the population. No, they're not. I'm sorry, I'm terribly cynical about our political class. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a political class, but I think it's populated with the wrong people at the moment. Really the wrong people. Powermongers, greed, all sorts of things. A different type of politician. Yeah. Difficult to think that there are such things around anymore. So what's going to happen in terms of our governance? I don't know. I have no idea. And perhaps one of the interesting things about lockdown is that people, generally speaking, have anticipated that life will change. They've also anticipated that nobody knows how it's going to change. Well, let's hope that something changes for the better. It's 7:59. It's coming up to 8 o'clock. Let's see, I've been broadcasting for 18 hours. I know, I haven't. Oh, God help you. How sweet of you to react in horror. I've been broadcasting for 18 minutes, coming up to 19 minutes. I'm only going to do half an hour this morning. So let's go to... there's something here called Heir to the Throne. And I know when I first used it, I just can't remember it. But let's have a little go and see what it's like. Well, it's a bit on the mournful side, isn't it? But actually, in its own way, rather a pleasant little piece. It's Heir A-I-R to the Throne. You can find it on YouTube. I don't know who the composer is, but I rather like that, actually. I rather like that. And I hope that perhaps you will replay it when you find it. A nice piece. Is it right for this time of day? But then, of course, the thing is, you see, we go out on the internet, so any time of day is the right time of day. No sense in trying to look for pieces of music that reflect the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, because it doesn't matter when we're actually doing it for the first time and it goes out live. These things are picked up at any time. So that piece, I think, is rather haunting, rather lovely. I like it. And I'm ready to say I like it, because we really do live in the me generation. And at 80, why the hell shouldn't I join the me generation? Let me do one or two things that I want to do for a change, instead of what society dictates. I'm already a curmudgeon. Oh, well known as a curmudgeon. And getting on my high horse has never been a problem for me. I call it as I see it, quite often logically. But you know, the fact of the matter is that emotion has a great part to play in our lives. You want to be logical, you want to sound sensible and so on, by all means, and there's time for that as well. But sometimes emotional. Sometimes when I feel full of the joys of spring, or the joys of summer, or the joys of whenever. I feel full when I've spoken to friends that I like, and that they, in turn, are having a good time, and that they are full of joy about their families and the things that they do and the talents that they've got. And that reminds me, I meant to say this morning, is the power of positive thinking. It really does work. I spoke to my consultant yesterday. Oh, beautiful Amanda. I love going to see her because not only is she a very good-looking lady, but she's also got a great sense of humour, great conversationalist, and although I only see her for about 10 minutes, it fills me with a lot of pleasure that I've had those 10 minutes with her. She's terrific, but she's also caring, and she's a Parkinson's specialist. And I said, Amanda, I couldn't walk the other day. I just couldn't get up. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. And she said, I doubt if it's your Parkinson's. I think it's something else. So we'll let's see how it is for a couple of days and so on. So we had a sensible chat, and I said to her, well, you know me, Amanda. I laugh at Parkinson's. I think that's the most powerful thing that you can do, is to laugh at Parkinson's and keep it at bay as long as you can by saying, you stupid disease or condition or whatever it is, you ain't going to get me. Ha 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 ha. And, something, it works in the main. This is why I'm glad to hear that whatever hit me the other day is probably not to do with Parkinson's, because I've done enough, I think, to make sure that Parkinson's understands that the power of positive thinking and the power of positive laughing and the power of positive get out of my life is working. It doesn't like it particularly, but it is. So the power of positive thinking about a lot of things is an inherent part of the way to face the dangers and the perils, and yes, they are the dangers and perils of coronavirus, post-coronavirus. What's going to happen? I don't know better than anybody else. I have no idea. But I do see little indicators of change. Not always good, but I do see indicators of change. And I hope that whatever comes out of it will be for the better. There are some things which patently aren't, because certain groups of people have got their fingers and claws firmly clutched into it. What am I rambling on about? Well, you're quite right, I'm just rambling, aren't I? But then I decided that I was going to do that this morning. This is an esoteric little radio broadcast. It's not going anywhere, it's not doing anything, it's rambling about this and that, it's disjointed, but at the moment that's what life is about. So perhaps what I'm doing is I'm reflecting what life is about. And that's why I've got this feeling about the power of positive thinking. The power of positive thinking. Think positively, and it will eventually help you to overcome some of the difficulties which we're all finding and get us all depressed. I've got a particular friend, and I tried to talk her out of a little depression yesterday. I tried. But in the long run, she'll do it, and I know she will. She's got that power of positive thinking. Occasionally, what happens is everything gets a bit too much for us. We have to step back and say, boo, boo, and then we get back up, we dust ourselves down, and away we go again. All right, I've got more problems from this coronavirus than you can change a stick at, and it's nothing to do with health, and it's nothing to do with the overall economy. In the long run, I haven't been able to do what I do best, and that is communicate. Okay? I charge for it. That's my business. But that is the power of positive thinking that has got to come back into my life. Nah, it hasn't got to come back at all. Never disappeared. Isn't this a morning ramble? Yeah. Perhaps I'd better play a little bit more music, because if we're going to go, well, it's 27 minutes. We're not going to be tied to any particular time this morning. So let's. Oh, here's one of my favourites. This is Yeva Sujan with Flawless Mind. We play this in some of our history pieces when we're discussing the priory in Lewis, which at one time was huge. Now it's a shell, because in his wisdom, Henry VIII had his henchman Thomas Cromwell pull it down. But even Cromwell couldn't get rid of the foundations which were built in 1080. Now, those foundations are 1,000 years old, and they're still standing. And if you push them, they don't look as if they're going to fall down at all. But anyway, when we do a program from there, and we do some history programs from there, because this part of the world has magnificent history, and down at this particular priory, the Battle of Lewes was partly fought, or at least the aftermath was fought, and that was in 1264. And the Battle of Lewes is widely regarded as when the first flicker of democracy came to England. Let's not say the United Kingdom, but it was England at the time, with the English kings. Pity it hasn't stuck, because I think that the idea of democracy that they had and the way that it flourished has disappeared. And it disappeared at a time that is known as the Dark Ages. How silly democracy should disappear in the Dark Ages, and that we haven't really brought it back. Anyway, Yeva has a beautiful voice. It is very, very suitable, this particular song, to our history pieces. So let me let you enjoy her instead of me rabbiting on.
He never bring you down.